Another beautiful woman is waiting for us many thousands of miles away in our Hollywood studios. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been lucky enough to talk to some greats from the area of Hollywood, and certainly none greater than this lady. She epitomised, certainly for someone like myself, all that was good about Hollywood. Beautiful lady waiting for us now in our Hollywood studios. Please welcome Mamie Van Doren. Hi, Mamie.
Hi, Bert.
It's good to say hello to you and welcome to our show.
Oh, a kiss to Australia.
Yeah, you've been here, of course, haven't you?
I was there in the 60s, but it's changed considerably, I understand.
Mamie, right from the kickoff, I might have this wrong, but I think I'm pretty close to being right. I think we might share a mutual friend. At one stage of the game, were you friendly with a performer called Don Lane?
Yes, Don used to warm up my act before when I had my nightclub act.
Yeah. It's a funny thing you should mention that. He's been trying to get away with that for years. Where was this, Mamie?
No, it was in Hawaii. We met in Hawaii, and he was the comic on the show just before I did my main act. But yeah, I guess I really said something funny. I didn't realize that, but yeah. But he's a very talented comedian, and I understand he was became very famous down there.
He certainly did, and very, very famous. And I was lucky enough to work with him for almost 10 years, and it was terrific. Were you and he ever a number, as they say?
Well, a very brief time.
Yeah. Story of Don's life, actually, Mamie. Okay, well, forget Don, just for a couple of moments, and we'll get to you.
Bert, I'm looking at you, and you look fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. Anytime you'd like me to, I'd love to come over there and warm up your act for you. I'm available. When you started off, I mean, there were, so far as I'm concerned, there were the three big ones in, I'll rephrase that, there were the three ladies in Hollywood who really made it big. There was yourself, there was Jane Mansfield, and of course there was Marilyn Monroe. There was a certain look that Hollywood was looking for back in the 50s, wasn't there?
Yes, it was the platinum blonde and the big red mouth and and big breasts, bosoms. And I guess that's still very popular. I think it's just sort of, you know, it's come back again.
Yeah, in that era, obviously most of us have read the documentations about Marilyn Monroe and the sadness of her life, and we're told that Jane Mansfield didn't have a particularly happy life. How did you manage to escape? Because you've kept yourself together, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I didn't take myself that seriously. I've always had a sense of humor about my career and about the men in my life, and I never really let my heart rule my head. If I felt like I was getting in too deep, I would get out immediately. It was very hard for me when my career took a dive, but I survived, and I'm very thankful that I'm here to be able to talk about it.
What caused that dive?
Well, I think it was after Jane Mansfield died in 1967, and after Marilyn's terrible tragedy. Blondes became almost an embarrassment, and I couldn't even get work after that, and so I took the hint and I left Hollywood. It was a terrible time for me, and but if I'd hung around, if I'd stayed in Hollywood, I probably wouldn't be here. It's very difficult. It was.
What did you do during that period?
Well, I volunteered to go to Vietnam, which I went to Nam for 3 months and took every chance in the world to get killed over there, but I never did. And then I went back again in 1971 and did the same thing everybody else was, but everything I did, nothing happened to me, so I figured I was going over there and seeing the young men trying to survive for their lives, and here I'm running around trying to do myself in. I felt that my whole life changed after when I came back.
You really were literally trying to get yourself killed?
Yes, yeah. I really went over there to do a suicide bit, and I didn't care. But I wrote about it in my book.
Yeah, sure. But why? Why did you want to die?
Well, it was very hard for me. It's very hard to explain what was going on in my mind. I was very alone, and it was very difficult because it seems like it was hard to find a man that really took me for what I really was, not just a sex symbol, but I was a human being, and I wanted to be treated as that, and I for some reason, they used me as a status symbol, and it was very hard.
Do you know, I can understand that because with your name and also another girl in Hollywood, Sherry North, I can recall a bloke telling me in Los Angeles once that so many people in the industry wanted to be seen with yourself and with Sherry North because, as you've just described it, it was a status symbol thing. And that must be soul-wrenching for someone like yourself.
Well, yeah, it was. And of course, it was a complete double standard in those days. And in the 50s and 60s, it was completely double standard. And thank God the movement with the burning of the bras and the 60s and the sexual revolution came about, and it really harmed my career, but at the same time it opened up a whole new thing for women's rights, and if that's what happened, I'm happy for that.
Do you regret being a Hollywood sex symbol?
Well, I wouldn't know what it was like to be anything else. No, I think now looking back, I'm glad I went through everything that I went through and that I was able to be a survivor. And I have a lot to do from now on. I'm very involved in the environment and animal rights. And so if there's anything I can lend my name to, I do.
Did you find that man that you were looking for?
And of course, women's rights.
Yeah. Did you find that dream man that you were looking for? Yes,
I did find him, Bert. I've been married 10 years and lived with him for 5, and so we've been together for 15. His name is Thomas Dixon. He was an actor when I met him, and now he's a writer, and he helped me write my book. And we're very compatible, and we're like partners and a friendship. We have every great relationship I could ask for. So there is something at the end of the rainbow for you, you know, if you hang on.
Do you have children?
I have a son, yes. I have a son by Ray Anthony, the orchestra leader.
Right.
And his name is, he's 33.
Yeah. How hard was it for him to have Mamie Van Doren as his mother?
Well, he keeps it inside, but I think he had a hard time. I know he did, and if I could take it back, I would have made it different. But I'm glad I didn't have a girl. I don't know what would have happened if I'd had a daughter. But I have a son who was so understanding and so wonderful. He never became a drug addict. He's just so perfect. I'm blessed with that. And maybe it was because of all the things that he saw me go through. And he's supportive of me, and he's just crazy about me today. And I'm very lucky.
I don't mean this as false flattery, because it's not that. But if I didn't know better, I mean, it doesn't seem possible that you have a 33-year-old son. You obviously have looked after yourself very well.
Oh, thank you, Bert. That's very kind of you. Well, I have. I'm 56, and I take care of myself. I do. I think it's because I have a good husband, too, and I don't have to worry, and we both stay in shape. We run. I do aerobics, and I have a good outlet toward life now, an appreciative outlook.
You still work?
Oh, yes, I'm leaving for Paris this week. The Parisians bought my book, and I'm going over there to promote it, and I'm going to be doing some rock and roll songs for my movies. And I'm really looking forward to it because I perform. You know, I sing and dance yet. I was the first one to do rock and roll in the movies.
Right, right.
It's very much like what Madonna's doing today. I believe a lot of her songs and a lot of things that she does has copied me more than Marilyn, because I did all the teenage movies in the 50s and the 60s.
Could I just ask you, Mamie, do you know Madonna, incidentally?
No, I don't.
If she were to ask you for some advice as to what she should look out for and what she should be doing in her career, what would your simple advice be?
Well, she's a lot, I shouldn't say the word tough, but she seems like she's got it together, and she made it later in life, where I made it like when I was 18. Madonna didn't make it until probably late 20s. And in those days when I started, when you were in your late 20s, it was over. If you didn't, you know, you were an old bag when you were 28. So times really have changed. But Madonna today, she had all those years of experience of saying, well, when I make it, nobody's going to touch me. I'm going to be able to do my thing. And that lady is doing it. And I don't think I have to tell Madonna anything because I think she's got it together.
Okay, just finally on a serious note, referring back to Don Lane, he always said wonderful things about you. He loved working with you.
Oh, he did?
And I think what he told me in previous years, we've seen today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You've been a surprise package. We wish you well in all that you do, and I hope you can come to Australia again one day. Oh,
golly, thanks a lot, Bert. I'm really looking forward to it.
Mamie Van Doren, ladies and gentlemen, in Hollywood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice lady, eh?
Oh, she's great.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mamie Van Doren. It was a pleasure to talk to you. After this break, we have Donald Cant back on the show. The last time he appeared with us, we got tremendous reaction, and he's singing today a song that I think everybody loves. And it happens after this break. That's fine. As a matter of fact, me?
Yes?
It's Bert again. Thank you so much for that. That was just absolutely great.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. I enjoyed talking to you.
Well,
you're real good.
Well, likewise. And as I mentioned, Don spoke very nicely of you. And you've got no idea, the reaction from the studio audience we have here was just phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks again.
Okay, all the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Do 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 do.